Hi, I'm Mark with Hothead Headliners. We're here today. We're going to show how to install the Sky One Touch headliner for this Jeep right here. It's Sky One Touch. It's a JL 4-door. So we're going to show real quick what you're going to get with your headliner kit. You're going to get 2 pieces of Velcro. This one has ABS sewn on it, so it's kind of stiff. This is going to go on the front, and these are going to be marked, so you don't have to worry about it. This is the piece for the rear. And then you're going to get 5 strips of Velcro, adhesive back Velcro. This piece is different. It has a piece of 3M on it, the one for the rear. And the rest of these, the other 4, are rolled up. You're also going to get 2 of these little pieces of Velcro that actually stick to themselves pretty well. The back is so that you're going to roll them up and stick them to the cells. You're going to get a clean rag that you're going to clean it with, and you're going to get an adhesion promoter, which you're going to use in the back. All the surfaces you're going to clean with alcohol, only alcohol. Don't use any other stuff. And this says fuel, but it is just denatured alcohol. You can use isopropyl alcohol that you get at the drugstore, is totally fine. So we're going to show how to install this stuff, and all of this Velcro, once you install it, we're going to have you wait 24 to 48 hours. And the reason is 24 to 48, if you live in a really hot condition, like in Arizona and it's dry, and it's 95 out and you install it, 24 hours is perfectly sufficient for the adhesive on the back to reach full bond. That's what we want to do. It takes 24 to 48 hours once it's installed for the adhesive to reach full bond. So, but if it's like 70 out, you're going to want to wait 48 hours. If it's colder than that, there are instructions on how to deal with it. You're going to want to run your heater, get everything warm inside, get all this warm, get the inside warm with your heater running, then do the installation. So you can do it in really cold weather, but you need to take those precautions. Okay, we are going to clean all the areas that we need to clean with alcohol. The rag we sent, I've soaked this with alcohol. I've made sure I squeezed it out before I got in the Jeep. You do not want to drip alcohol in your Jeep. But you do want to have it fairly wet to get these surfaces clean. So this first one is on the front of this piece right here. So we're just going to rub that, and you can see that the alcohol, it's pretty warm, and the alcohol dries right away. And again, the face of this, not the top, the face. Now, from there, the 5 bars that are going to get the Velcro, the first one is one of them we're doing, and the way you can tell which ones get the Velcro is they're not hooked in, they're not tied into the side here. The next one is tied into the track. When you put your top back, 5 spots go up because they are not tied in. And those are the ones we're going to put the Velcro on. So we're going to just clean that really good with alcohol. The other bars, the way to tell is this next bar, there is one up underneath there. And the way to get to that is you put your top back to where it's right here, and you can put it on. Make sure it's one of the correct ones. Then this one and the last one in back. Okay, so in the back piece, the back Velcro is going to center from like right here to right here. So just get your rag, and again, it's going to go on the face, not up. It goes on the faces. So you're going to clean side to side. We're going to put the adhesion promoter on, which we'll show in a minute, but we just want to get all those clean. So now everything's clean. All right, here we are. We're going to show how to install the front piece. And this piece, this is a piece of Velcro sewn to a piece of 1 1/4 ABS with 3M tape on the back of it. As you can see, the tape is more toward one side than the other. So the wider side, the reason for that is because that is the top, and it is going to go up behind this little lip. This plastic is clipped onto this. And so when we install this, it is going to slide right up behind that. It goes about an 1/8 inch up behind that, which is going to ensure that this thing's never going to be able to pull off because it's kind of locked in by this part of the hardware of the actual Jeep. So the way to install it, the first thing you're going to do is slide it up here, and you're going to notice it's about 3/4 of an inch short. So you want to center it. So put it all the way this way, and half back, it's going to start about right there. You should be able to eyeball it pretty good. It doesn't have to be exact, but you don't want it all the way against one side. So center as best you can. The way you're going to install this is you're going to peel about 10 inches of this back, have the carrier, I'm just folding it down like that, so it's down. Okay, and you don't want to just push against it. I have this at an angle, and I'm pushing it right up behind that. And once it's right up behind it really good, I'm pushing up. I'm going to just stick it, not all the way to there. But so that's stuck right here under my hand. Now I'm going to go to the next section. I'm going to push up. I'm pushing up with this hand, and I'm going to pull a little more of that carrier back. Make sure this is pushed up again. It actually goes underneath there very easily. The bar is bowed just a little bit, which tends to make it want to go down, but as soon as you get to here, it's just like completely pushed up. So I'm going to push up again, pull a little more of this off, push a little more, and from here, almost, because it's holding it up tight by the little bend in it. So you can just kind of go like this. I'm pushing up firmly to make sure it's all the way up in there. Okay, now what you want to do, it's very important that we push really firm on this. And I want to stress the whole heat factor. This tape, the hotter it is, the softer it is, and the softer it is, the easier it is to get full adhesion. So if it's really warm, this piece is hot, great. You want all the tape hot, but you still need to push as firmly as possible. And this is a little rough on your fingers. So I usually take the carrier that I pulled off, and I push with that. And I go, move over, and I push, and go all along that. Now what you're going to want to do, if it's 90 out and this thing's 150 degrees and you install it, you're probably great. You still want to push good. If it's 70 and you're in a garage, install it, push firmly, then take your Jeep out in the sun, let this get warm, let the tape get soft, push again. You're going to do that with the front and the back. The middle pieces aren't that important that you push again and it's super hot. It needs to be over 70. If it is under 70 degrees, what you're going to want to do is take all of your Velcro pieces, put them inside, run your heater, like put them up here on your dash with your heat run and let them get really hot. Let the inside of your Jeep get hot, then install everything. So clean it, get them hot, and then do it. Okay, we're here in the Sky One Touch Jeep. If you have one of our headliners and you're installing the Velcro pieces on the bars, I'm just going to show one and they're all going to be the same. So the first thing you want to do is you want to hold the piece up. It's 39.5 inches, which makes it about 3/4 of an inch short from right here. So you're going to start about 3/4 of an inch short. And the way you're going to do it, this is 2 inches and this is just a little over an inch. So the whole point is that this is going to wrap around the sides of it and it's going to hold it on really good because it can't come loose because it's wrapped around the sides. So what you want to do is you want to peel back maybe 6 or 7 inches. Okay, get up underneath it. You want to center it perfectly as best you can within the bar. So I got it centered. Check the first ones. It looks like it's on there really even. I'm going to pull back this much. Now I'm going to hold my fingers like this, evenly on both sides, and then I can touch my fingers to each side of the bar and I can feel that I'm centered. Okay, I'm going to go like that. Just touch it lightly, peel a little bit more back. Again, do the same thing. Peel it back. You want to do your best to center this so it wraps around each side the same. Now once you get it like that, you're going to take the cellophane, push it down flat. Okay, then you're going to grab it like this, and you're going to go right up around the edge so it starts curving around the edge. Do it a couple times. Now I'm going all the way down. That way you get it. And now I can go all the way up to the top. So I'm getting it really tight, pushed it really tight up on the edges of both sides. And now push the bottom down really good. If you do it with just your bare fingers, it's going to really hurt because this stuff's rough. You don't have to push down crazy hard, but that's it. You don't want this stuff wrapped way around the top so it's sticking up in here. You want it to stop right at the top, which is exactly what it is if you got it on pretty even. And that is it. This is one of the easiest bars. You're going to do every other bar starting from the front. There's one bar up underneath here. What you have to do is you have to open your top and then shut it until it's about right here, and then you can do that. That's it. Okay, so once we've installed this, the front, we're going to show the back in a second. I already have the other 4 of these installed. Again, I want to reiterate, you're going to install these and you're going to wait 24 to 48 hours. If it's really hot where you live, 24 hours is probably sufficient. If it's 70, I'd wait 48 hours. That's going to allow this stuff to have full bond before you put any load on it, so it's never going to fall off. Okay, we're going to show how to install the back piece. This is the piece that has the 3M on the back of it. It's not going from side to side. And again, I'm gonna eyeball this. If you want to take out a tape measure and measure from side to side, this piece is like 29.5 inches. It's not super important. You can see these little tabs right here, and there's one on the other side, so you can kind of get an idea of where it's going to go. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get one of these little adhesion promoters. And the way that one side has this little, it's like a Q-tip sponge, and the way to get the adhesion promoter out is to break this. And then the liquid goes down into there, and then we're going to rub it just on right where the tape's going to go. Once we rub this on, we're going to wait for it to dry completely, probably 2 to 5 minutes depending on the conditions you are installing it in. Make sure you get it to the end of where you're going. You could put a little piece of blue painter's tape right where your thing's going to go, so you knew for sure. Okay, we don't use this on the front because it is metal and that tape sticks better to it. This is a plastic that's kind of hard to stick to. This is a different type of 3M tape, very, very tacky. With this adhesion promoter, it sticks absolutely fabulous. So we're done with this. I'm not going to set it on my carpet because it has a little bit of a solvent odor. But we got to wait a couple more minutes. You can still see that this is a little bit wet. So we're going to wait about 2 or 3 more minutes before we put this piece on. All right, the adhesion promoter has been about 5 minutes. You can still see a little bit of discoloration. Just looks like it's wet. It doesn't discolor your plastic here. I've probably done it on mine 5 times because I'm constantly taking this off, re-putting it on, and it doesn't show at all. So getting an idea where this is going to go, we're talking about 3.5 inches from there probably. Don't quote me on that because it was just a guess. Just like all the rest of them, you're just going to pull a little bit of it off. And we want it to butt right up to the top. This tape is very tacky, so you don't want to stick it before. We're going to get a little bit of it stuck. Pull a decent amount off. Hold it right up to the top. Can you see in there? I'm just going to stick it right down. Pull a little bit more of it off. Stick it down. The last little bit. And then I'm going to use the carrier again to push nice and firm. That's what 3M, the guys at 3M just really stressed, the firmness that you push. That being what makes this tape stick really good. Okay, so here is the moment we're going to show how to put the actual top in. You want to make sure you get the right orientation. So you can tell the front by these little cutouts. The back doesn't have that. The back's just straight square. So what we're going to do is it should be rolled up like this. It'd come that way, but if it isn't, just make sure it's rolled that way when you get in your rear seat. You're just going to slide it right over your roll bar. And the only thing that makes this remotely difficult is sometimes it wants to stick on the bars, this Velcro. If you have a hard time doing that, you can always just put your top back, throw it over these 2 bars, and then install it. But yeah, I just got it through without it. Yeah, see, it's stuck right there. But it's totally fine. As long as it's sitting right there, we want to be able to get in the front seat and pull. Okay, so here I am in the front, and what was happening is the Velcro was sticking on the second bar right here. So I just release it like that, and then I can just pull it forward. And what we want to do is we want to get it pulled forward enough so we can stick it on this without any tension being pulled back. This thing should fit almost exactly in between this bracket and that bracket, right where the Velcro goes. There's only about an 1/8 inch. There's only about an 1/8 inch of play. So you're going to want to start it almost right against it, maybe about that much, about a 1/16 of an inch or so. So I'm just going to get it laid up in there. And you can always reposition it, so it's not super important. I'm just trying to get it straight, and basically I'm trying to make the bottom of this even with the bottom of this. I'm rubbing my thumb right along that. I'm kind of pulling tension this way as I go, so it stays. And while you're doing it, it's going to want to stick. Just undo it. Push it down. Like I said, you'll be able to reposition it. Looks like it's humped up a little bit right here. We'll be able to reposition it really easy after we get the whole thing installed. Okay, you want to make sure it's not stuck on these bars. Okay, so we're in the back now. We have the front stuck. We just need to take this, slide it right over the top of this bar, and just kind of let it sit right there. And we're going to turn around. What we need to do is get it stuck on this back Velcro. So let's see if I can get the camera in a decent position to do that. Can you see it okay? I know it's probably not lit very good in here. I think you'll be able to catch the concepts. What we're doing is I'm going to hold the top up. I'm going to kind of put my fingers on these straps so I can feel if it's even side to side. And because we put those little Velcro pieces on there, it's going to kind of stick. So it's kind of stuck right there, and then I'm going to grab the center of it, and I'm going to stick it right to there. Stick it right to that Velcro we put on. Now again, the whole thing that makes this a little bit difficult is that it wants to grab. So we want to, if that happens, we just pull it loose, and we stick it right on that piece that we put on. Go around to this side, pull that loose. See it right there? Okay, so it's basically in now. We want to make sure it's pretty even. If it's not even, pull it off, reposition it so it's pretty even side to side, because that's what's going to determine it. Now all this is, it's right at the back. This is like the last thing you're going to do after you get all this in. The back corners of these have this little piece of, it's called Velcro One Wrap. It sticks to itself. It's sewn just like this. And what's going to happen is it's going to go right around that. So you're just going to open, the piece is going to come like this. You're going to open it up. You're just going to, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just laying it over that. I'm laying one piece over it. I'm reaching around and wrapping the other one. And now it is actually stuck to that bar, that little strap. It's kind of hanging, you can see. So what we want to do is you want to just touch it right in the center. Those pieces of Velcro that we put on the bars are now stuck. Pull it loose and pull just with a little tension to the outside, slide out. Get up underneath it, release it, and slide out just like that. And then it comes out perfectly even, perfectly smooth. We're going to do the same thing with the next bar. See how it's gone all hanging down? We touch it right up in the center, grab the end, slide out, grab the edge, slide out. This would be a lot easier if I was sitting in the back seat. Touch it in the center, pull, slide out. Slide out. Now we just need to jump in the front seat. This is the last, well, that's the second to the last one. Push up at the center, just like we did before. Grab and slide out. Do the same thing over here. Then the only last one we have is this one that's right kind of over the top. So we should just be able to do that, slide out. See, you can, it's kind of stuck there. So you want to release it and then pull out. And that is it. It's in. If you need to reposition your front because you think it's a little crooked, now it's stuck right here and it's kind of in position. It's really easy to pull this off and just straighten that back out. And that's it. So Okay, so we have the top all installed in our Jeep here. There's a couple points I wanted to touch on. If people have concerns about the weight of this headliner impeding their motor, it's very light, it works right with it. It doesn't seem to put any more stress on the motor. And one of the reasons I think that is because you can open these things at 50 miles an hour, which the wind blowing on it's going to put way more stress than this headliner will. And I also wanted to touch on the fact that we have a sunshade that works in conjunction with this. Once you get your headliner installed, you can install our sunshade in there, which stays in place. You push the button, your top goes back, your sunshade is in place. Push your button again, your top closes. You never have to touch either one of them. They work perfectly together. You good?
Yep.
Okay. Now step